Hello and welcome. My name's Brandee, Sage of the Fae Folk. I'm a tarot reader, artist, and writer, and today I've got a Lunar New Year reading for you. It just seemed like a really good time for a check-in reading. I've pulled oracle cards already for each of the 12 signs, and then in each of the groups I'll pull from tarot cards. In these readings, we'll do a general check-in, and we'll see what goals you should be keeping up with. This reading is for my earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And so if you have your sun, moon, or rising signs in Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, this reading is for you. I've got a little intro reading for you for how you'll know this reading's for you and what you can expect to get out of it. I'll see you over in those readings.
It would be so nice if something would make sense for a change.
What's your name?
Brandee.
With 2 E's.
I had a world of my own, everything would be nonsense.
I'm going to pull us a couple cards just as like a general of what to look for in this reading and how you know it's for you. I'm putting this out with the intention that the signs will be for your sun, moon, and rising. So many cups already. Okay. So it seems like the general themes across this collective with the people who find this video that you will find. So it's probably touching on all 12 of these. But obviously the specifics will be different and even different from inside the pile because I can't know everything. Okay. A lot of cups energy. And then this is what we're setting aside. Okay, I get it. So this is the thing that you're picking up this year. It seems like the main thing is care for yourself, starting from yourself. It seems like you've probably been someone whose call out is starting early. You've probably been someone who has almost relied on other people to like have a routine. Like maybe you calling myself out too. Wow. Like maybe you wait for other people to make a plan with you rather than just going and doing the thing that you want. This is changing. This 9 of Cups upright is really about like personal fulfillment, wish fulfillment, and like going. It's like a manifestation card. And this achievement and luxury is on this. But there's always, for me, an element of solitude in this card. In the traditional like Pamela Coleman Smith illustration, it's like person alone with their 9 cups. And that's different than the 10 of Cups, which offers a loving community. These are both like very happy places to be. This 10 of Cups includes like family, it includes the group. And so this is what's reversed right now. So it's not saying that you can't have family, that you have to do it all alone, but it does have to be your thing. It does have to be your way, especially right this minute. And I think especially since so much of this is about like what's your plan going forward, what are you doing, what are your goals, like that's what a lot of the intention into this reading is. You can't base that on what other people want for you. This is that 10 of Swords reversed. We're setting down the perspectives of other people, we're setting down the busy work given to us by other people, and that takes a hard shift. So I think a lot of these individual readings will be about the details of how to set down, how to like not care what other people think in a way that you can just move freely with your things. I like that a lot. What's on the bottom of the deck? 10 of Wands. 10, 10, 10. Releasing burdens is another big thing. And all of these 10s want to come out reversed. There's something about like redefinitions that always comes out when I'm talking about 10s reversed. And that is a lot of what we've been talking about, right? Is like how can you define this on your terms? What does success mean to you? Like you can't know if you're successful if you don't know what successful means. And so I think this is a call to really come back to those definitions, especially on how you define it. It can be someone else's definition if it's like something that you also think is true. Yeah, it looks like you've got a big, like, logician, like logic person stuck in your head that's always like, well, is that true or is that just the way I feel? Both. Like, this is definitely a call to nuance rather than locking yourself in to either other people's perspective, where you sit with other people, your place in the group. Like, a lot of those things seem to be things that are fading out, and what's coming back is what you want to do. I'm really drawn to Dreamer on this card. And I think a lot of people read kind of like a bitchy attitude onto the Queen of Cups, which is like deserved a lot of the time. But I think people forget that it's an emotional card still. Like, this is peak emotions. This is being so in tune with your emotions that you know to stay regulated. This is like taking care of yourself from the top down. This is the kind of like taking care of yourself that, like, you brush your teeth because it feels gross when you don't, not because you should be brushing your teeth. If that difference makes sense. So, okay. I think those are some really good themes. They really, really want me to pull with this Lord of the Rings deck before I get into the middle of it. So, 1 second. Let me see what this deck has to say. And yeah, if you want to skip over to your parts, you're more than welcome to. I'm going to either put timestamps in the doobly-doo, or I'm going to separate the video. I've not tried it, so I don't know how hard it is. Seven of Pentacles reversed and Six of Pentacles reversed. We got a lot of reversals in this first. Oh, okay. And when I get a lot of reversals, I do feel like there's like perspective warping going on, which is a very abstract way to say it looks like you've been depressed. And I think depression comes with depression goggles, things that color it darker than things actually are. It's really easy when you're depressed to think that there's no hope out there for you, to think that there's no way forward, and that no one could know how to get out of this situation. And this sun is all about optimism and positivity and consciousness, and I really think it's coming in to say there's a different way. There's a different way than going through this darkness. There's a different way than this world where everyone takes from you. In this world where it's everyone's 6, 7, 8 reversed too. You know, like, Six of Pentacles reversed I'd read as like unfairness, like people not knowing when to give but also not knowing when to take, and the opposite of that. So like people taking too much from you, people expecting too much from you. That's this card reversed. The Seven of Pentacles reversed is like, I've never had a plan. What do you mean how should I what do you mean how should I plan? There's no plan. There's never been a plan. I don't I just got the friends do you have a plan? I don't even have a plan. Like, it's no plan. And then Eight of Pentacles is like, but there is infinite tasks from everyone else. So this is really a burnout cycle, if I'm being honest, because it's like there's no plan, but people want me to be places. So if I just take care of other people, that should get me somewhere. But it comes back around to this unfairness. It comes back around to, like, I've been giving myself up. There's too much of myself being drained, and it just keeps going. And so this King of Rings reversed, Rings or Pentacles, is really like you never had control. You never could have control. But I always read that the energy of up and down is always there, which means that the control is there for you. The stability, the assuredness is right there. But you just have to start by taking care of yourself, and that'll lead to these bigger processes. So I definitely think there will be a little bit on like how to maintain optimism. What's the most easeful path forward will probably be one of the questions that I focus on. Oops, sorry if that made a noise. So yeah, I hope this sounds exciting to you, and that I'll see you in your groups. All right, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This one's for you. Shuffles are going much better than the earlier ones. Yeah, which is already... I hope we get the cards to support this, but it's already feeling like you're moving onto very solid ground. Whatever work you have done is like, it's already starting to feel better. Like this is, it feels like a confidence shift. Wheel of Fortune. And, you know, a bunch of... Oh, that's good. A bunch of confusing emotional stuff. I cannot believe this, I'm pretty sure, has come out in every group. This is the 4th group. Okay. You know what I think a lot of... what this keeps feeling like is people should just mind their business. Like, I think silence is protecting a lot of people right now. Protecting them in the decisions they want to make for themselves. And for you right now, you have made up your mind. You've made up your mind to make up your mind. Because it looks like you have been stuck in like not knowing what you really want to do, not really knowing like what you should do, what direction you should head. But you're done feeling stuck and you're willing to work for it. I feel like that's a lot of what's been going on, is you deciding that you want to care, that you want to try. But it also feels like that's something you have to keep so quiet and like packed tight to protect it, that it ends up looking a lot like things that were more toxic. What I mean is I think there's this big, like, the defenses being lowered, the like, I don't want to fight anymore, I don't like this guy's blocking people out. It's protective, it's needed, but it's not the best place to live in all the time. And it seems like you really want to get out of that. And you've made up your mind to get out of that. This card is about wish fulfillment. I really like that it's the caterpillar. And there's a spot in the cartoon where it's like, who are you? And he's like screaming it at her. um I feel like that's been happening to you. It's like you want to know more about who you are. And you've made up your mind to like do that work. That's really cool. What that is giving you is self-love and a direction. So, okay, what it's looking like this work, it's what I think you had hoped, turning inward in this specific way. What I think you hoped had happened, if it is that it would give you like a clear path, go this exact way. What it'll do instead is open up a couple paths that you can go down. So don't be surprised if you get like similar sounding like job opportunities at the same time. Or because we've got 2 2s and 2 9s, it seems like you might have a lot of like parallel things happening. Like maybe your work luck is connected to your like fitness journey or something. But it's all rooted in this place of self-care. I didn't really explain how we're going through this reading. I was pulling just kind of an initial like how are we doing cards, but then they got so interesting that I just got into it. So this is kind of just a how you're doing spread. Okay, so Taurus. My mic died, so it's a whole different time now. So with that first deck, we went over just generally how are you doing, what's been going on, what are the general themes that you're dealing with. And so with this next deck, what we'll do is go into what's the most easeful path forward given what's going on. And then after that, we'll get into what goals you should have. In the very last deck, we'll be doing how are you doing according to your spirit team. Do I think there's things you need to work on? Probably some compliments. That kind of thing. But for now, it's the most easeful path forward. That's the Wheel of Fortune again. I don't know why they keep doing that. Oh my god. Sorry. Far away. Okay, cool. So yeah, that Wheel of Fortune reversed. The thing that's been keeping you from your abundance has really been this overwhelming sense of fear. Um, Part of it is like fearing your own strength, fearing like I'm hearing how far away a confident you would be from the life you've created. And so it seems like there's a part of you that wants so much more than you're getting right now that it feels like to say that you'd be ungrateful for the things that you have gotten. And so the most easeful path forward is to thank the place you're at. It looks like you're in the process of leaving. You're in the process of yeah, you've already left. And so now you're trying to figure out it's like this is the sun, this is the 8 of cups reversed. Um and so it feels like the sun's shining on the places that you're supposed to pour into. Like for right now, the most easeful path forward is to love what you have with everything you have. And I think there's an element of that that has felt selfish before. Like if you just fall into your side of life, maybe you're not like fulfilling other friendship goals or not being there for people. But I do also think that you have overgiven. And so it's your turn for people to give to you. It's your turn to go after what you want. And it's the most easeful path forward for you to do that. The conflict is going to be you staying put because you've already left emotionally. You're gone. And so whatever little bit mentally and physically you're still in whatever situation you've decided is not for you, it's time to release the rest of it. So I would say there's a little bit of like saying thank you to the place that you've completely left behind. And then there seems to be a little space here where you found something else, but it's still not quite where you want to be. And so I think these two places both need you to say thank you. Like what a complete chapter. Now I can leave it. And that process will really help you move forward. We've also got Death and then the Temperance, that's 13 and then 14 in the Major Arcana, which is just like the trump suit of tarot. And when I see progressions in my spreads, I always see it as fast lesson learning. And this is fast lesson learning in that trump suit, in the most important suit. Most important. It's complicated. And so this specific transition too is this is a rebirth, the Death card. It's a complete transformation. And the Temperance is the evening back out. So where the Death card maybe requires you like cutting people off, like not talking to certain people, Temperance comes in with like, but you do have some friends that are good for you. Like you don't have to be completely alone just because you cut certain people off. I think that's where Temperance comes in with a kinder, more easeful path forward. And so it really looks like you're transitioning from the Death card to Temperance, where your confidence can really lead the way. And so by that I mean like if you need rest, I think this new side of you, this new side that's emerging, is just the kind that will take it. Won't have to completely justify it or like overgive in order to have what you want. Like it's just you get what you want because it's your life, and you get to give yourself what you want. That's a very big shift that's happening. So okay, very good. And then we'll also get what are some goals you should have. That's too many. Travel. That's a big one. That's a good one. Anything else about the travel before we move on? Where you want to go. So maybe there's somewhere you want to go that maybe other people think is cringe or dumb, or there could even be like whatever realm you left, maybe the people there, you went on a trip with them somewhere, and so now you want to go again to kind of do a more positive replacement of that memory. There also might be a little bit of like proving to others, but really yourself, that like you are someone who travels, you are someone who can explore, embrace the fun. And so a lot of that seems to be letting go of what other people think about it. That's a good one. Okay. That's a good one too, but I'll, yeah. I'm like, I'm going to say it so fast, I might as well just get my. Okay. Bang. Okay. These two are both so calm, and then this is just getting a mess. It's funny. Next goal is it seems like you're wanting to stop working for other people in ways that don't serve you. I don't think like it seems like from things we've been talking about, you're a pretty generous person. And so this doesn't really feel like a selfish version of that. It actually just seems like you've been busying yourself with other people's stuff so much that you don't have time to work on your own projects. And so that leads to this big burden of you have to take on other people's stress for their projects and no energy left for your own. And so actually releasing that tendency seems like you've been like you're really close. 10 is the end of the path. Um, 2 10s. And the Wheel of Fortune's 10. These are cycles closing. Like I said, it seems like you've been transforming a lot. And the thing that I remember coming up the most, I don't remember how much was in the first section right the second, but when I was recording and then the sound went out, a big thing that came up for you was the things you are doing are the things you should be doing. The processes you have been working on are the processes that you should be working on. Like whoever ends up in this group is really um, like doing some stuff that's working for you, whether it's like therapy or maybe like a new workout routine or whatever has been working for you, whatever processes have really helped you are going to keep helping you. And continuing down this path is going to lead you the direction you want to go. And so a lot of these things I'm saying should be reminders. They should be like, I think I'm doing that. Or maybe even like, I think I did it. And then it's just that little bit until it integrates into something you actually believe. So it seems like you've already figured out that you give up a lot of time and energy to other people's projects, and you don't want to do that anymore. So I would say a little bit of the like how to make that happen. I'd say any project that someone invites you on, I want you to think of it like a bank. Like, is there enough money? Is there enough energy in the bank to spend on this project? Because sometimes there's not. And just like you need a savings account for you before you give away all your energy, all your money, or spend it, keep some left for you. You need this much to get by. Or like times that you're feeling down, you're probably going to need more in on you. But keeping that like whatever's extra can go to other people. Whatever is over that limit I set gets to go. I can go help people with their stuff. I still think you want to be generous in this, just not to the point that it's taking from you. Because a lot of your energy is needing to decide which direction you want to go. Like I said in that first part, it seems like you've made up your mind to make up your mind. That's just going to take some time to actually like try some stuff out. Try out the stuff that you've been afraid of, the stuff that you've been, and that's coming back to this card too. Maybe people have talked down a lot of the things that you've been into, but they're things that you're still into, and so it's okay to pick them back up now. There is a lot of like emotional maturity in this where I think you're needing to redefine what maturity really is for you. Because I think there seems to be like someone who told you you were really childish or something. I'm also seeing this little monster here as like a little demon inside you. That isn't really there. Yeah, actually, I think you're seeing this side of yourself with kinder eyes. But to do that, you have to like go back to a younger version of you, a less mature version of you, maybe a more selfish version of you that can actually think about what you want. And this seems to have been like shaking the ground already quite a bit. I think it'll continue because things needed to be shaken up, right? Like you didn't want to stay where you were. Okay, so let's get one more goal, something that's a little easier to measure. Okay. It's not necessarily more measurable than these other ones, but it looks like you're getting a lot more energy back, um, especially mental energy to like think or get engaged in new processes. Um, that's been like your brain's like turned on a little more. Not like that. And so you're not needing as much rest. And so there's this like what to do with all this open space in front of you. And that the goal seems to be allowing yourself to just go to what feels nice. Like we were talking about that most easeful path forward. This looks like the goal of what to do when you're not resting is whatever feels good. And that can really look like anything from like time of day, person to person, anything like that. And so keep it really simple. A lot of times I like to start with what sensation do I want? What food do I want? Like start with the piece of chocolate, and then from there you can like snowball, right? You can go step by step. Just pick one thing that's the direction you want to go, and then you can keep moving that direction. And that's what this goal really looks like, into making that a habit, into making that just your general practice of being. And sometimes that will include helping other people. Sometimes that will include working on other people's projects or doing a thing that's maybe not entirely your thing. Like it seems like that's included in what your path forward is. I'm not going to be surprised if we ask in this next part, when we ask how does your spirit team think you're doing, that they say you're doing a great job, and be nicer to yourself because you're doing a great job. Because even if you weren't doing a great job, you still deserve to be spoken nice to. Like, yeah, let's just see. But I was gonna say something else, but I think it's just supposed to come out with the cards, so we'll just wait. So let's do that last bit. And then we'll read the oracle cards. Okay, Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. How are you doing? How does your spirit team think you're doing? Eight. Wow. Okay. There's a little piece of you that has been thinking, this can't be for you. It's way too positive. Here you go. Not that this is not positive. I think it really is, but it's a little bit of a call out as well. Because it seems that you have been really anxiously attached to whatever chapter you left behind. Because this is the 12 and 13. So we still have a progression with that death card, but it's back a step. And I think it looks to you like you're still back here because you've been pressed, like you've been off. That strength reversed is like, oh, you're infinitely capable, but like it's just not coming through. And even still in that place, you've been transforming. And so that's like the reality of the situation, according to your spirit team, is you are amazing because you were able to keep up this transformation, this growth process, even when all your strength was being taken. And so now, as you're more in these more exploratory places, you're looking to like what to do next. It makes sense that you're like looking, like they're both looking over here, and this Five of Cups is looking at like this castle. Like everybody's looking in all the wrong places, is what it looks like. And it seems like a lot of those are like the towers, like to those structures. I think I said this in earlier groups. It really seems like certain people are like leaving what was home, whether that's like a divorce or like moving out or like parting ways with a friend, like anything like that that has been getting in your way. Seems like those are the things that are really moving out of the way. Um, so I think your spirit team wants you to explore a little more because I think that's where they've been waiting. If you've felt like you haven't had a lot of support, haven't had a lot of, um, haven't really had a spirit team, it seems like they would like you to find them. They would like you to find like return to spirituality in some way for you. That can look like anything. Um, it might even just be that like your version of like spirituality is like being in nature. Just I think the spot that's been missing has been a little bit of that like care that like religion can give you, where you just like have a place to go to honor the process. So wherever you're feeling drawn to in that way, I think your spirit team really wants you to explore that so that they can come and help you more directly. So maybe you need to pick up like a tarot deck or a rune set and like start developing a practice with it. Or maybe you are a religious person and just haven't gone in a while. Like however it's coming out for you is what I would trust. Um, but it's definitely looking like, according to your spirit team, the place that you could use a little. They're like, let us help you. Let us help you. Come find us. And they can help with that larger anxiety. I would say there's also like I said, what you have been doing is what you're supposed to be doing. There's some of that that's already being processed through. It just doesn't look like it. Depression goggles are real. uh yeah, because that's really what like this Leo energy keeps coming through, because like I said, you're immensely capable and then you're just all caught up in that past chapter, in what you didn't get in that past chapter. And so, yeah, travel, exploration, those things are all worth your time. Go and get what you didn't get, but make sure that it's in a way that's still pushing you forward. So, go back to the old place with new people, right? Go back to spirituality in a completely different realm. Uh maybe you're someone who like used to go to church, never wants to go to church again, but you miss singing. You miss the choir. Um and so picking up singing might be worth your time. Um like I said, this could go in a bunch of different ways, but it just really looks like you could take a little help, and it seems like some sort of woo woo power could really help. um if you're not completely into that, like I said, whatever therapy, whatever medicines, whatever processes you've been doing have been working, just let yourself explore it a little more. Let yourself get curious about it. That was cute. Accountability. Love it. Okay, so we've got these 3 oracle cards, which I will read a bit. This one is procrastination. Stop focusing on your problems and excuses. Take a small step and do something creative. What did I say? Just take a small step. What number is this? 7. I'm glad. I'm glad the sound went out. This is much like livelier. It's more fun than the other one was. The procrastination card. See, because I read these, but the procrastination didn't quite like fit in the message the same way this one just kind of neatly slid in there. So, it happened like it was supposed to. The procrastination card is related to the perfectionism card. The people often use an excuse for delaying or failing to act. Holy cow. Hold on. Or failing to act. This is a really weird sentence. I'm going to skip it. The antidote to procrastination is simply starting, doing something, anything. Taking one step forward that is in any way related to one's goal can get the ball rolling. This must be done knowing full well that you are warming up like an athlete. And this initial creative effort is almost definitely going to be modified, if not discarded entirely. These small steps practices make the procrastination disappear into the beautiful inner landscape of your creative imagination. Yeah, you don't have to know exactly where you're headed. You don't have to know the entire plan. Just start and you'll figure it out. You've been figuring it out this whole time already. Okay, this is snail. Taking your time, the sacred and fragility. Taking your time and the sacred both really line up with what I was saying earlier. And then with the temperance being that next step that you're on too really fits in with this, because I think you've been perfecting a process of moving forward intentionally, moving forward slowly, moving forward in a way that like won't burn you out. And again, what you have been doing is what you should be doing. Okay. Now for this auspicious symbols, which is lucky symbols from a bunch of different cultures. We've got Aja, Aha. I don't know what sound the J makes. I'm sorry. If you know, please let me know, and I will look it up when I'm done here. You're being invited to connect to the healing power of plants and animals. Like I said, that nature and spirituality might be a connection. Okay, this is a powerful Orisha from the Yoruba mythology. She's associated with Nigeria and was brought to the New World as a wise woman and healer. Not is she the overseer of forests, but also of powerful herbal remedies that grow there. She holds the secret of botany, herbal healing, and the wild nature that bounds within the forest. It's also believed that she is associated with the wild wind and can carry people away to the land of the dead and back, transforming them. This amazing nature goddess is here to share the message of the environment and healing. Her invitation is to explore the power found in the elements of earth, water, fire, and air, particularly the wind. You may call her mastery and wisdom forth as you dive into herbal medicines and physical connection to forests, woods, trees, water, and contain fire. Aja urges you to put down the phone, turn off the computer, and get outside. Make time to connect to wild, untamed places in nature that offer respite from daily work and duties. In this place, listen to the wind and hear the soft whisper of her wisdom as a greater message. You may also be receiving this as a sign regarding personal health and healing remedies. Pay attention to what you're ingesting and incorporate wild herbs, greens, and locally grown food in your diet. The time is now. Follow the elements and find entire guidance as you do. Well, cool. I love that little bow they tied on it. That's how I know it's going the right direction. I'm glad this is where we ended up. And yeah, I've now split the groups into earth, air, water, fire. And so I'll see you in wherever your other placements are, your sun, moon, and rising placements. Hope this helps. Hello, Virgo, sun, moon, or rising. Welcome. So at first, I'm going to pull just a few cards of like a general, how are you doing? What's been going on? And then after this first deck, we're going to get into what's the most easeful path forward and what goals should you have. And then with the last deck, before the oracle cards, we will get into what your spirit guides think of how you're doing. And then the oracle cards, I've pulled them already. I've pre-pulled them. And we've got 3 to go over, and I'll do some reading at the very end. So that's what you'll get here. Okay, so one of the things that's been going on is you've really been conquering your mental space, is what it feels like. It seems like you're coming out of a period of mental rest. Maybe you've been taking a break from work, taking a break from just the thinking, the constant stressing, just letting yourself have a break. See how he's just like against the tree there? That's what that 4 of Swords really looks like, just a time out. And that's the thing that you're coming out of. But you're coming out of it with this new knowledge of like how you work, because you've had that time to really settle into how you feel and how you think about things. And especially around your like family and your community, you've been able to pour back into your own work, whatever has been fulfilling for you. And I really like, we've got these like, I don't know, this is like turning weapons into tools, where maybe you were just stuck in like the idea phase and like writer's block, and just I have something to say but it's all stuck up there, into just getting it out on the page, just trying some different things out and seeing how it goes. And so now that brings you to a place where you're really wanting to explore your creativity more, like push the boundaries of it. But this like overpressing need to take care of yourself, to emotionally cater to yourself, whatever pushed you into that need to pull up that 4 of Swords, that's still an issue that you're facing. So this is probably emotional regulation. Like you want to keep yourself stable enough to actually be able to pursue the things you want to passionately. So yeah, with all of those things being said, what's the most easeful path forward? It was very to the point. I like it. I didn't say before, but if you're someone who doesn't prefer to see the shuffles and the experience the whole reading like this, I edit these down into smaller pieces on my TikTok. This is for people who like the whole process. Why are you stuck? Okay. So, what's the most easeful path forward? Especially when we're looking at keeping yourself emotionally regulated while also exploring new things. And then there seems to be a little bit about family responsibility as well to look at. King of Swords. That's come out with both the decks so far now. Yeah. Oh, I didn't mean to. Queen of Cups again. So we're definitely looking at, like I said, emotional regulation. And so this probably looks like giving yourself a lot of breaks. No. Okay. Ten of Cups again. So we're definitely talking about the same things then. Okay, so I really like the Temperance card here. That card talks about patience with yourself and taking things as they come. And so this is taking it like a day, like an hour at a time. Like, what's the load you're carrying, and adjust your demands based on that. If it's a heavy mental load day, it's okay if the dishes sit there. You don't have to finish them. On those days that you just really can't, it might be a good day for an extra long lunch or taking yourself out for a little treat. Basically, it's adjusting based on what energy you're bringing to the table. And so that can be longer term strategies, but since that Queen of Cups came out reversed in that last one, that really seems like it's something that you're learning to control. You're measuring these cups back and forth, trying to find the right proportion. And now this card is coming out upright. And so that's really talking about you having that control back, you having that that feeling that it's contained. And you do that by, okay, we've got like steps, kind of. So this is what's the most easeful path forward, and this is generally, and that's specifically with that family feeling. And it looks like slowness has not really been your friend lately because you're feeling frustrated by things not moving along. And so it is going to be like the most easeful path forward is grounding your plan and getting it out of that ideation phase and into I'm like putting action down. I'm putting a plan down. It's time to get moving a little quicker. And that's the most easeful path forward. So not only is it something that you want to do, like I said, you're coming out of that Four of Swords, you're done resting. You want to get moving. And so the most easeful thing is to ground your plan and get moving. So it looks like you've been working on your anxiety, and that's definitely going to help with your emotional regulation as well, is taking care of yourself and speaking your mind when you need to. And so this is probably also practicing meditation, practicing like this feels a little too much. I'm going to go on a walk and we can talk about it when I get back. But taking that kind of control, that kind of say where you like say what you need. You can say it in a kind way. There really seems to be a lot of like positivity and kindness in this message, honestly, especially with that sun there. That's all about positivity. And And you can also say what you need. You don't have to yell that you need a break. You can just say, I'm going to take a break. Um, like, while I'm gone, please do this. Like, it really is like taking that control back, those queens back, coming back into your King of Swords, that the master of your domain energy with enthusiasm and passion, leading with that creative spirit. Maybe, ooh, and then we'll get into the family stuff. Yeah, leading with that, like my passions are important, and so I'm going to give them room to expand. You see how she's like watching those ships leave? It's like, I get it, you all have to go that way, but I need to stay here. I need to be here. I'll stay connected to you all, but my path is important, and that's what I need to put my energy into. And just speaking up when that's like the legitimate way that you feel. So it seems like there is this sense of failure around your family. So maybe there's been some like restructuring. Maybe you'll know what it is. I'm all not to keep speculating like that. But that has led to a lot of like mental turmoil because you just keep reliving the same things over and over. And so that's kind of cracking you open in a way, um, that I think you can actually use. Um, and since we're talking about what the most easeful path forward is, accepting help as like part of the package seems to be part of it. Like putting those pieces together where they can still support you, but it's your thing. Um, so that's having like good boundaries. But I'd say the biggest thing with this Queen of Wands is like she's gonna show you before she tells you. She's gonna already be in a project, already have thought it out and started the plan, before like bringing it to people. And so that really like feels like you should trust. Okay, well, there's two sides of it. The most easeful path forward, right? And so asking for help, but then also accepting when that help isn't there. And so yeah, that in a okay, because the other thing is that it does seem like you're taking control over a lot of areas of your life, but that doesn't mean going back to where the entire load is so overwhelming and you don't know how to ask for help and you don't know how to get help and it just feels like it's piling always. That's not what you're going back to. I think coming back from that Four of Swords, you have to come back with the knowledge that you need rest. That rest is important, that you should make time for your rest, just like you need to for meals and hygiene. It's part of the package deal that you get some time off. And that's part of you coming in with this in charge attitude, is that large scale, like I am going to take care of me because that's all I can do, and then I'll show up for these connections, for this community, as much as I possibly can. But taking care, it's putting on your oxygen mask first. Taking care of you has to be the priority sometimes. When you're overwhelmed and stressed, you're not doing anyone any good staying in that. And it's the most easeful path forward to let yourself off the hook, to ask for help, to expect that help can be there, and also that you can take care of things when help isn't available. That you're so good at taking care of things. Okay, so what goals should my Virgos have? Okay, so that is, so this King of Cups is about emotional maturity. And so it looks like you have a goal around like respecting that other people's paths are for themselves. Like you want to be able to release like the burden of what other people are doing, so that you can focus that energy on what you want to learn, on the path that you want to open up and the doors that you want to go through. So that seems like an energy shift, a focus on where your thoughts ultimately end up, a focus on what you let yourself dwell on, and shifting it back to you, shifting it back to, like, rather than into what they're doing, into what you can do about it. Like, if you're unhappy that people are traveling, what's a way that you can fill that need? Maybe it's time to start saving up for a trip yourself. Maybe you can go, like, on a walk in a different part of town where you haven't explored, to fill that a little bit, so that you can build on that feeling and as you grow. But it really seems like putting that energy back on you, back on your path. I like how he's like holding the sun too, because it's like that positivity from the first, like, with that same amount of like, oh, I care about people enough to let them shine. Okay. Other goal is to be is to turn your feelings into fuel, is to use your emotions to fuel your creations. It looks like that's where a lot of your inspiration is going to come from. So if you've been looking for like a muse, looking for something to inspire you, it seems like your feelings are a great place to start with it. So maybe there's a specific project you're looking to bring about, or maybe you could put this into a specific project. And then this last goal, what is this, the Nine of Wands? Yeah. What's on the bottom of the deck? Four of Wands. Okay, yeah, you want to feel at home with yourself again. It looks like when you feel displaced, when you feel out of connection with yourself, you put up a lot of walls with other people. And so there is a little bit of like, for other people, you want to be able to show up more authentically. But also it would really help you to be able to feel things and like step into that authenticity. And so this healing path that you're going on, this really just seems like continuing your healing path should and is one of your should be and is one of your goals, is to continue to take care of yourself. Like I said, you're coming out of that Four of the Swords with the understanding that rest is important, that taking care of yourself is part of the package deal of you being here. And if you can't take care of yourself, this isn't the right place for you. and really like living in the spaces you're in, like fully letting yourself breathe and be and take up space, ask for things. That's all this stuff. And that's how you're gonna get that wall down, is just testing out, showing up, and seeing what it feels like. And I think that is what you have been doing. And so just continuing down that path seems like a really good goal. I like those. So now let's ask, according to your spirit team, how are you doing? What's your grade? I haven't been giving people legitimate grades, so I'm not going to do that, but that's kind of what we'll talk about. Weird. Well, I'd say you're the only one that thinks you're not on track. Okay. So they're wanting to acknowledge that you're in a really big transformation right now. That you're letting go of a lot of the masks that you have had, the like ties you've bound your, like the places you've bound yourself to. That's what this devil card is all about. But it came out next to this death and page of coins, which is really like you're transforming out of that place. You're deciding to do something different than staying there. And so a big piece of this is that it's for you. And so, yeah, there will probably be, ooh, we've got 222 here. There will probably be a little bit of this that feels selfish. A little bit of this that feels like maybe you're asking for too much. I think that's a big part of what stops you from stepping into this powerful energy. But this is supposed to be about what you want. Like you living authentically. Like saving you is worthy of your attention. Caring for you and making that a goal and making that a priority is worth your time. And so, yeah, you're wanting to make a decision on where to like grow your garden, where you're wanting to thrive, how exactly you're wanting to put that in place. And according to your spirit team, you're doing a great job with that. You're super strong and capable. And especially if and when you allow yourself to use your curiosity to push you forward, you are an overachiever. So come to this with that same spirit, that you're capable. That, yeah, you can't see everything that's going on right now, but you've done similar things before. So now it's just about making that decision, putting it on paper. And that's how your spirit team thinks you're doing. Is right on track. Just let yourself go. So let's get into these oracle cards. So this first one is from this creativity oracle. It talks about living a creative life. And what was I saying? Just let yourself go. This is the last thing I said, right? Start. You must start from where you are. Examine your situation and take a chance. The start card is one of the most important creativity oracle cards. The journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath your feet. Your creative process starts with your vision of what you want to do and how you want to do it. Picking this card is an indication that it's time to take the first steps and make your vision come alive. Many people exhaust their creativity, crafting excuses for why they cannot start doing what they know needs to be done. It cannot be said too often that the best way to overcome the inertia and complacency that are the mortal enemies of creativity is to just get in the race. Starting does not require genius. It requires that you get in the race and that you warm up, knowing that what you do will be revised and substantially and possibly discarded. Start. Yes, exactly that. Go. So this next one is from this Literary Witches deck. They have witches and witches materials. So we've got a material here with this white dress. And so this is appearances, society, and gender are the three key phrases for this one. So it seems like there's probably some the perception of others that has been stopping you from starting this specific project. So let's see where this last card comes in actually. Okay, Eagle Feather. This powerful medicine is here to connect you to both heaven and earth. Number 36. The feathers of the eagle are considered to be the most sacred of healing tools, used for many ages by indigenous communities. Medicine healers and shamans consider eagle feathers a valuable part of their healing toolkit. The power of the power of eagle is apparent from their mighty presence in flight. As they soar through the air, we can imagine their ability to see beyond the horizon and expand their view. So into the message. The eagle feather has landed as a healing and personal message. This card may indicate that you have lost sight of your connection to the elements, the power of spirit, and your higher self. Rise up now like an eagle to reclaim your highest potential. The eagle is revered as a symbol of great spirit and invites you to see your own divinity and your own power and foresight. Use this message of eagle's greatness to recall your connection to the higher realms, higher consciousness, and your valued presence. Eagle nests near water, inviting us to connect to the elements of air and water through thoughts and feelings. See yourself like an eagle, connecting heaven and earth in your day-to-day life. So I really liked that, like, rise up and claim your eagle energy, especially if you're feeling trapped and confined by how people will see you. I think it's time to rise up beyond that and really accept that personal power, like I was saying before, that kind of personal power that allows you to come in and say, like, I know what I need, and I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna get it, and using that, like, okay, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna take my power back. that's the energy you can use to start. That's the energy you can use to just get going. Like it said, it's going to be revised. This is like knowing that this is going to change a bunch. This is all going to go how it goes. But you'll never know until you get going. So okay. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in your other groups. All right, hello Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising sign. So glad you're here. What we're doing with this first deck is I'm going to pull just a general how are you doing? What are the main things you've got going on? Three of Swords very first. A little bit of heartbreak, it seems. But just a little bit. 333 out there. As well as the Emperor and the Empress. So for 4 cards, a lot of things going on. The 333, if maybe that's a number for you, maybe that's a synchronicity for you, maybe it's something you should be looking out for as you're moving forward. But in general, this 3 of Swords feeling, this is a feeling of like heartache and betrayal. The other swords are going into the heart. And so it can be times that you really thought things were going to go better. Things are going to go a little different. And, or maybe even you thought, oh, I hope things don't go this way. And then that's the way they went. And so what that's given you is an opportunity to take care of yourself. I think, excuse me, it's been your impulse to collaborate, to work with other people, while at the same time knowing that you're needing to alter your direction for them. Sorry. The Emperor and Empress out together is really telling me that you're coming at life from a really balanced place right now. And like I said, there seems to be a lot of fairness, what's fair going on in your decision making. And maybe even like, oh, this person hurts me, so how can I like not do that same thing to someone else? Or how can I, there's even a little bit where it seems like you want to make sure you're doing your very best so that you're not in the wrong. And so that when you do go the direction you want to go, you have all of this evidence that like you've been showing up as like a good person. Let's get a couple more cards. Okay, yeah. And you've been doing the very best you can. So, of course, you're not going to be perfectly open to collaborating all of the time. Everyone has like a social energy cap. Just everyone's at a different level for what that cap is. And you've been doing the best with the energy that you have. But it still seems like, in spite of wanting to be open, in spite of wanting to come at this from like a caring and level place, you've built up some walls as defenses. Yeah, And it seems like that's mostly been to protect your hurt feelings, protect yourself from uh, like getting rained on. uh, like if you're going to be digging through your emotions, you're coming at it from a place where it's like, well, I'm going to be wading through the water. I'll wear some good boots. Uh, and so that actually looks like a lot of where your defensiveness is coming from is from trying to protect yourself, but it seems like you're putting on a little bit of armor so that you can wade into your emotions. And so it makes sense that people around you would have a harder time getting to you on an emotional level because you're having a harder time getting to you on that level. Not that many, please. Okay. Yeah, and it does still seem like a big feeling you're working on is this feeling of abandonment. And so when people react to your walls by like not trying to knock them down, not trying to like make it an emergency, it can feel like people are completely ignoring you. And so it's like you're trying to keep things hopeful, trying to move into what you want and like sort through the options, and you're in a really good spot to do so. And so it just seems like one of the main questions is like, how can I be more balanced, more on top of it if well all of this is going on, because it doesn't seem like you're wanting to change how anything's happening. So yeah, with that being your emotional landscape, what is the most easeful path forward? And I'm going to cut these down and put part of them up on TikTok. And so if you prefer a little shorter readings, more bite size, you can go head over there. And I've got that linked in the doobly doo. So, what's the most easeful path forward? Temperance reversed, Tower reversed. So I'll be very interested if I have anyone in my group with Scorpio and or Sagittarius in their sun, moon, or rising, because I think as I've just been in this little recording section, those two have both had Temperance and the Tower out. But I'm pretty sure other groups have too. So put your big three in the comments if you feel up to it, because I'm very curious to see how these get combined and who we've got in our collective. Okay, and Four of Swords reversed has come out quite a bit for people too, especially in this what's the most easeful path forward section. So it does seem like you're coming out of a period of like really like rest. You had to flip an emergency switch and take care of yourself. And this really seemed to interrupt your plans, interrupt your workflow, and especially with the specific direction you were wanting to head, it like put extra rocks in the road or something. And so as you're coming out of this period of rest, coming out of this I'm going to take care of myself now time, you're needing to come out of it with the understanding that you're going to have to do things a little differently. That, yeah, you can keep going down this road you were going, but it's going to come back to the same point where you're going to need to shut it all down and take care of things immediately. And that's really what this Tower card looks like to me, is the most easeful path forward is recognizing that things have to change from a top-down perspective so that you don't have to keep pouring out your cup, so that you don't have to keep going back into that burnout. You're going to come back into this with a loving hand and say, like, I'm going to take care of these little details. Maybe it's like something like meal planning. Like, I'm going to take care and like pre-cut ingredients on this one day so that the rest of my week can be a little easier. Or I'm going to or maybe you like plan your hangouts with people so that you can like eat with them, so that at least you're getting fed as you're hanging out with your friend, and then it's like two tasks at the same time. But there just seems to be a little bit of, like I said, that loving hand into the decisions you make, and especially with that understanding that it's like, well, I can't do it how I used to do it. And so even if people are asking you to and like calling you back into that same way of being, even if they say like, well, you used to, yeah, I don't anymore, and that's not what I want to do now. And the most easeful path forward is coming in and saying that, is letting yourself say, that's not how I'm doing it. How I'm doing it now is like this. The thing that's working for me now is this. And a big piece of it is so that you can figure out the next steps, the next direction to head. So yeah, let's look at what goals you should have. Goals for my Capricorns, Sun, Moon, and Rising. We want at least one emotional one and one hyper practical one. I believe I already said the thing about my TikTok, but okay, so one of the things is you're wanting to flip the script to where what's present, instead of a temperance reversed and the sun reversed, instead of things not being leveled out and feeling like there's no positivity, feeling like there's a block between you and your optimism. You're wanting to flip it upright so you are taking care of yourself, and so that you can see that joy and optimism. And especially finding joy and optimism in that leveling out process, in that, oh, I'm just going to try like half an hour more sleep. Maybe tomorrow I'll get up an hour early, and just seeing what the results are when you do a little test here and a little test there. And so that work is really about flipping this upright so that the positivity can be a little easier to access. That's a really good emotional one. Another thing seems to be you want to have a restraint on sometimes your words. Maybe you're an emotional talker. You'd like to spill a lot of things about how you feel. And so you're wanting to use a little bit of restraint so that not everybody knows exactly how you feel. There also seems to be a little bit about creative restraint. And so maybe there are specific projects you're wanting to get into, but then you get distracted with just a project you do out of habit. And so you're wanting to switch that into like claiming your creative time, claiming your creative energy a little more. but that's going to include speaking about it less and doing more of it. Okay. Three of Cups. Three of Wands. Page of Wands and Seven of Wands. And the Hermit on the bottom of the deck. Okay. So this goal is about who you'll wait around for. So where's our practical goal? Okay. Well, yeah, like I said, who you'll wait around for seems to be a goal that's shifting for you right now. There are certain people who make time with them very easy. And you're supposed to be, one of the goals is to prioritize plans with those people, where I think it has been, because it's so easy with them, you know that they'll understand, and so you put them on the back burner and end up putting other people ahead of them in just how you organize your time. And so it seems like coming at your relationships, coming at your connections with a little more intention is one of your goals, so that the people that you see the most are the people you care about the most. Oh, that is the practical one. Yeah. So that might literally look like scheduling specific times with people, that it's like, well, every week we do go get coffee, or every week we do this one thing, but also adding in those more spontaneous hangouts. This feels very friendship related. And so this last goal, okay, well, and I've been saying it in a lot of groups, but I'll say it here too. When you're setting emotional goals and you're trying to keep them measurable or actionable, journaling about and thinking about what things will feel like when you're there, what things will look like when you achieve this goal, is a good way to set that kind of intention of like, this is this, it looks like this right now, I want it to look like this. Because it looks like another thing you've got going on is a bit of a confidence issue. It seems like, yeah, you've really made like an identity in being an explorer. And so you've created a lot of like relationships that feel temporary, because you'll only be here for a minute, you're just floating through. And that seems like something that you're wanting to change, because you don't have like that confidence from people rallying with you. And so there does seem to be a little bit of, they're saying it, exploring closer to home. So maybe you're wanting to like explore your neighborhood more, check out what the restaurant down the street has to offer finally. Or this could be about approaching your alone time with more curiosity and more care. And that it can be about that alone time rather than that external time. Even if you're like someone who like does a lot of solo explorations, maybe it's that like you need time at home to feel with yourself. There's something there, but it's definitely about getting your confidence back and not spread yourself so thin by like forcing that exploration onto your activity. Okay. Anything else from these goals? No, but a lot of these just look like care, maybe a little bit more restraint, but just coming from that loving place of like I know what I want, and so I'm not gonna spend my energy on these people that don't matter, this thing that doesn't matter, this like maybe you have like a mobile game on your phone that you just end up, or a social media site that you just spend too much energy on, and so you want to put in like a screen timer or something on your phone, things like that. Pay attention to how it resonates for you and go with that. Okay, so now let's look into how does your spirit team think you're doing. Is there anything you can improve on? What are you already doing well? Tell me if I've got some Capricorn poets specifically in my groups. Because it seems like someone might be doing some writing about the pain that they've gone through. And it's very impressive work. Yeah, and then the other part is that you've kept on loving anyway. Seems like you've had to shift directions quite a bit. You've had to go on this healing journey. There are some walls that you've been working on lowering. Things have felt generally unlucky, and you've chosen to love anyway. And you've chosen to meet people from this communicative, this is everything I have place. You've continued to view your life as poetry, as a project, as art, in a way that's allowed you to tap into flow a lot more. And part of that flow has included leaving places. And so you're really being complimented on your ability to go with the flow. And that seems like maybe something you haven't always had the ability to access. More water. More water. Six of Cups. More water. Like I said. Wow. And so you're really sharpening your intuitive skills as well. And so if you've been developing relationships like with your specific spirit teams, like maybe there's a specific angel you like to work with, or a deity, maybe it's like a grandma, or someone like, or maybe it's someone physically like a mentor or someone that you really admire that's helping you get through this hard time. But it's okay to lean on those kinds of connections right now because they're really sharpening your skills. They're, like I was saying with that Three of Cups and Three of Wands, like spending more time with the people who pour into you, spending more time with the people who make it easy is really going to help you feel like you're capable of doing things because you don't have to go through that extra work just to have some social time. And your spirit team will really help you in that goal, especially if you allow them to be like part of the group that's helping you. And that intuition will really help you see through these situations where you would normally have that reflexive wall, you can come into like a, okay, I know what's going on. I've been here before. This is a pattern I've noticed. And so I can do these kinds of things without having to be completely closed off to be protected. You can come in with understanding instead. And that seems like work you've already been doing as you've been choosing this more loving path, choosing to leave places that aren't loving. So keep it up. Yeah, that's how your spirit team thinks you're doing. So let's get into these oracle cards. And that'll be it. Okay, this first one, habits. Examine habits that may impede pathways to your goals and encourage beneficial ones. So this deck is all about living a creative life. Got number 6 here. The habits card is an indication that you should look at your habits and or those of any other person involved in your situation to see if you are dealing with habits that heal or habits that harm your goal. We all evolve habits to help us deal with daily life, especially with its challenges. Thinking of oneself as a creative person or an artist is a good habit to cultivate. Habitually criticizing yourself and your work or others and their work is not, and works against your best interest. This card can be a reminder to look at your work habits, what is currently called your workflow, to see if you are using best practices to bring your ideas into reality. Like I've been saying with temperance, that restructuring, seeing what's working and taking it a bit at a time, really seems to be a lot of that. So this one's the Literary Witches Oracle, and we've got Emily Bronte, fantasy, dwelling, indulging, and hiding in fantasy. Okay, let's see this last card. So I'm curious. Cicada. Personal changes on this horizon. Listen to the cicada for messages along the way. That's 24. The chirp of the cicada is a welcome notice of positive transformation. This may be the change you have been seeking, or a renewal of energies that have become stagnant or worn out. Cicada reminds you of the importance of listening to yourself and how you speak about change. Re-examining elements from the past may be necessary for inviting yourself to experience a rebirth. Remember that this change may be quick and coincide with the uncovering of deeper truths and long forgotten dreams. Use the symbol of longevity and renewal as a way to shed your old wings and become anew. The cycle of cicada points to a shift from one way of existing to another in rapid fashion. This symbol invites you to move swiftly, take a chance, and invite change and flourish. So one of the habits you might have had is really like excusing yourself to fantasy in a way that almost like took away any responsibility to change and like work on the things that weren't going right for you. And so now that you're tapping more into that flow and letting yourself move through these different like changing parts and prioritizing your care, it seems like that'll naturally evolve you and push you down this path of change. And so start with those small habits. Start with the things that are really obvious about what needs to change and just make small steps in that direction. I know the temptation to run away is really strong. And so bringing that like ethereal fantasy quality to your day-to-day life by embracing those fun, light people is really going to help it feel less mundane and more worth it to put care and cultivation into the garden that you're growing. Okay. I hope this helps, and I'll see you in whatever your sun, moon, and rising sign are